Hello and welcome back to another Sunday Daily Cribbage. Let's dive into a game against the computer and we will see what kinds of situations we get into today. So, playing as pawn to begin with, we have a couple of different combos in hand. We've got double 10 with a 9 potentially. We've got ace double 7. So ace double 7 gives us 4 points. But we can't, but if we keep that, then we probably have to throw away 9, 10 to avoid giving away the pair of 10s. And if we want to keep the double 10, 9, well, we have to throw away a pair of 7s. So we could throw away ace 9. The thing about throwing away, let's say 9, 10, is that we forfeit the opportunity to get a double run, although the 8 is already pretty good for us. If we do cut an 8 with a double 7 in hand. But I think I'm just going to go maybe with the ace 9 to begin with. So one thing to note is if you throw away ace 10, you do get some very good double runs whenever you cut an 8. And that's probably going to mean that ace 10 is actually fairly good discard here. But it's hard to say no to 4 points and the safety of ace 9 in the opponent's crib. A 4 comes on top, which is not the best because we threw away an ace. And I think we're very happy to just lead a 7. If our opponent goes 8, then we'll play our 10. Now we have the option of whether we want to go 10 or 7. Because of the 4 cut on top, if our opponent does have a 4, that's already going to be quite a good hand. So I'm going to try and avoid giving that hand more points by going a 7, I think. It turns out that our opponent just has big cards in their hand, and unfortunately I think we're going to have to give away some points. The other I guess the reason to play out not the 7 there is that we get extra playability on the second time round. So I think we missed a little trick there, but we move on to the next round with that knowledge in mind. We've got 6, 7, 8, which is a nice combo worth 5 points. We can pair that with one of our aces, and that will give us a ace 6, 8 for 15. I think I quite like that. So throw away the ace queen. If we wanted to throw away the pair of aces, I think that's also fine. But ace queen improves a little more than double aces. The 2 lead makes me think to play either the 6 or the 7 next. And if our opponent makes it 15, then I have a good response. And in this case, if they make it 14, I can play my ace for 15. Opponent's shown us 2, 6 queens so far, and they don't have anything less than a 6. Or, yeah, they don't have any 6s or less. So let's play out, I guess, our 7. And we got lucky there with the 9. Opponent makes their average, which is 26, and we are a little bit behind on 20. Okay. Again, we've got a 6, 7, 8, and we can keep it with an ace, but we also have ace 4, 10 if we wanted to keep that particular combo. I think I'm just happy to keep the points with the 6, 7, 8 ace, and we throw away the 4, 10. A 4 comes on top, so opponent gets some points in the crib, and we'll start by leading a 7. Okay, so it's worth noting that we can go to 25 here with the 8, and if our opponent has a 5, then we'll be able to make it 31 with our ace. However, if our opponent doesn't have a 5 and instead has something like 2, 3 or ace 4, in both cases, our opponent's hand is very strong, and we're going to forfeit a lot of points by having an ace ourselves because our opponent will get the 31 and potentially get a run or an extra pair out of the deal. So I don't think there's any way to avoid these things, so we might as well play the 8. And it looks bad. There we go. A similar thing would have happened if we had played our 6 instead of the 8. Our opponent wouldn't have got the extra point for 31, but they would have still got 3 points, 2 for the pair and 1 for the last card. Opponent has a really nice hand and a very nice crib. The cut card was excellent for them. Okay. Next up, we've got double ace, 2, 5, 7, 9, and there's a very nice and simple 6 points in our hand. So we could do something like this. However, we are very far behind, and when desperation starts to set in, you really need to think about ways that you can get as many points as possible. So for instance, if we knew that the cut card was going to be a 3, then it would be in our best interest to throw away 5, 7. So the question is, how good is throwing away 2, 7, and how much benefit do we get from cutting a 3 if we throw away 5, 7? So cutting a 3 happens about 8% of the time. There's maybe slightly more, maybe 9%. There are 4 3s left in the deck and 46 cards left, so and if we do cut a 3, then our hand is going to be worth 8, 10, 12 points. And our crib is going to be worth at least, I think, 4 points. Yeah, I can't see a way it's worth not less than 4 points. So we're going to have 16 points, which takes us up to about 43, plus however much we get on the play. And our hand actually plays relatively well, because the pair of aces and the 2 are low, but we have the 9 to jump. So hopefully we're going to get a pair of aces out of the play. So that makes me think, and what's our opponent's position like? Well, they're at 51. They're trying to get to 70, which is 19 points away. They have to get pretty lucky. And I don't think there's a... Yeah, I mean, if they have such a great hand, then they're doing great, but I think that maybe 5, 7 is the play here. It does sacrifice some points, but if we do hit our outs, then it puts us in a much better situation to come back. And I think we really need to lean into that variance a bit. So I'm going to make the executive decision to throw away 5, 7. And a lot of the time we don't get this, but that's okay. We're going to look for further opportunities down the road where we can catch up. Jack. Okay, that doesn't really do much for us here. So we will continue with our plan of just trying to get as many points on the play, and it looks like we do manage to get quite a lot here. Our hand does play quite well, as we've been able to see, and while it's not worth many points, we do get a few points back in the crib. Yeah, computer much rather keeps the ace, ace, 5, 9, which also plays fairly well as well, but we are trying to lean into that variance, trying to get lots of points. And here, in another prime example, if we cut Jack, it's going to be really great. We don't get it, and if our opponent has another 5 here, we are pretty dead. So we might already be very dead, but that's okay. We're not really playing against any of our opponent's hands where they get so many points that we're out of the game. It might look pretty hopeless right now, but there are still some good chances for a comeback. Okay, so how does a comeback work here? So 4, 5, 6 is a nice combo. With 5 points, we can extend it with a 7, throw away ace 9, or we can throw away ace 7 and keep the 4, 5, 6, 9. I think I like the 4, 5, 6, 9. And maybe the other option is actually to throw away 7, 9, because ace 4, 5, 6 actually plays quite well. And with the opportunity to try and hit an 8 in the crib. I think I'm just going to keep it simple and go a7, because there's not too much in it between those two. We'll jump up with the 9, and if our opponent has a 4, then we get to pair it. And we do get to either play the 5, which gives us 3 points for the run, and an extra point for the go, or we could play the 6, which is 2 points for the pair and 2 points. So I think they're both pretty similar, but I think our opponent has more 5s in hand, so I'm going to play the 6. No, it just had a 2 there. So opponent's hand is actually not good at all, only 2 points. And this is allowing us to really jump back into the game. Great stuff. So 85 for our opponent, 77 for us. Opponent needs 11 points to get to their milestone. Quite a tall ask. And now we're looking down at, well, we've got 7, 7, 8 for 6 points. We can put that with a 5 because we would not like to throw away the 5. It does mean we have to throw away 4 jack. If we don't want to throw away 4 jack, I guess we could throw away something like 8 jack or 8 4. Probably 8 4 because it keeps 2 more points. Anyway, 4 jack it is. And 4 comes up on top, which is not the greatest, but will lead our 7. We'll play the 8. 2 2. 2 2. They don't have any 8s. They could have 3. 3 would be kind of devastating, actually. Yeah. Okay, I'm assuming they don't have a 3. They have a 5. 5's not doing much in their hand, so I'm happy to play the 5 here, I think. I don't suspect it's going to be paired very often. No, they just have high cards. Got 8 plus. So 2 2 Queen Jack. Well, that's only 2 points again. They have at least 2 points in the crib, but hopefully we dodge it. No, they throw away 7 8, so they do manage to get something out of that round. And here's a great hand for us. Well, it's great potential. We've got to keep this 9 double 10 in hand in order to try and get double runs. Now we don't get the double run, and we're in a tricky situation where we have to play either 6, 9, 10, 10, and all of these cards are bad in some way. So clearly we know the 9s and 10s are bad because our opponent can make a run, and the 6 is quite bad as well because if our opponent has 5, 10 left, they're going to play that out. Just like this. Yeah, there's a 5. However, we do have a good chance here to get some points back. If our opponent has another jack, say, well, if our opponent has another jack, then we're fairly dead in the water. But they could have a 10. No, they have a 9 for some reason. And, well, I guess we could have played the 10 first, but I thought our opponent had more 10s, but actually our removal is quite effective. Okay, 96 for us, 105 for our opponent. It's possible for us to get back into this. There's always a chance. And the way that we do that is really to just keep as many points as possible, and we need to get pretty lucky. Our opponent can't have anything too powerful. So, this is a bad start. I guess if our opponent has a 5, then it looks pretty bad for us. Ace, ace 4, and a 10. Yeah, that's a lot of points. 114, and 10 points in the crib. Not much to do there in the end. We lost out a lot of points well, I thought we lost out a lot of points in hand, but actually it's mostly the cribs. We weren't getting the cribs we needed. But I just want to add something which I've noticed recently, is that these match summary screens can be very deceptive, because we don't really know how many hands have been played and really how the points are distributed over those hands. So in our case, we had clearly many cribs that weren't very good for us. We only scored 15 points overall, but our opponent, they managed to get a few good cribs, but they also had a few hands that weren't particularly good, right? We definitely remember some of the hands where they only scored 2 or 4 points, and I don't think we got as many of those as our opponent. Our opponent's hands averaged out because they also got some really, really powerful hands. Got some really high-scoring hands as well. And the match summary doesn't really reflect that, it just sort of shows you all the averages. So anyway, that is everything for today. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you for another daily cribbage. Bye for now.